y'all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things. Today is a Sewers Club pattern review. I just came up with that title. So, if you don't know, if you haven't seen my project plans video or any video before or whatever, what I'm doing, or what I have been doing, what I plan to do in the future, is have 3 Sewers Club videos a month. 4 sewing videos in general, which seems to be that I do like a Sewers Club unboxing video, a Sewers Club project review for that unboxing. So 2 videos for this month's box, right? So like last week was March's unboxing, next week will be March's project review. Then I'm going to be doing some sort of other Sewers Club content for the most part. So that could be a project revisit like I did in January and February, where I looked at last year's project that I had already made and changed it up or made it more to my liking or did an alternative pattern or whatever was the option for Sewers Club that month. So like in January, I redid a sewing wallet because I didn't like the way the first one came out. So I remade it, did it again, more to what I enjoyed. February's project was pot holders last year. And they gave you an alternative pattern, and which is what I did for this year's bonus sewing video or whatever I call it. But this month is a little bit different. And that is because last year's sewing project was this here. It was the Tidy Tool Caddy for your ironing machine. For your ironing machine. That's not a word. For your ironing board, right? So here it is completed. It has my ironing, something for my ironing board in there. A few things actually. Oh, my little silicone finger things. Anyways, so right, it has like a strap for quilting clips or sewing clips, right? Some pockets for things, another pocket to hold things. It's double-sided, so you have this side and this side. Right, and then your back side is this amazing yellow fabric. I love that. I love the fabric for this. You might recognize these from my January review. But yeah, so anyway, this is what I made in last March. And I really, really like it. I use it all the time. So I didn't want to remake it because there would be no point to it. So since I really liked last year's March project, I didn't want to remake it, which I think I just said. But anyway, I didn't want to remake it because there would be no point. I use that all the time. I really liked the fabric it came in, and there wasn't really anything that was so catastrophic that I wanted to fix. So what I did instead is that I noticed last October that Sewers Club was had made their, I think it was October or November. Sewers Club made their previous sewing projects patterns and fabrics available for purchase. So I looked at it, I decided on 4 patterns to start with that I really wanted to try out. And this is the first one that we're going to do, which is the Back to the Basics machine organizer. I started with this one because it was really simple. If you haven't seen February's Sewers Club project, which is this guy here, see the purple is still there. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It was like a lovely like wallet with several pockets, right? And a lot of work. This thing was a lot of work. And because I sew right now on my dining room table, I needed something that was going to be a little bit easier because I do multiple projects at once. Like I put up I like set up my sewing machine for like a week on the table. And so I did that, I did this, and I did my denim whale all within like the same week, so that I could keep the chaos to a minimum. Eventually I will have a sewing area upstairs in my spare room, but that is not right now. So we kind of had to make do with what we had. So all of that being said, this month's sewing project for Sewers Club had to be easier. So for this month's pattern review, we went super simple with this guy, right? I could have bought the fabric to go with it that they show in the picture, but I have to be honest, I don't really like it. So I didn't. Like always, you have all of your information on the back. This is from September of 2020, this project. So yeah, let's talk about the project. So I'm going to do what I always do and talk about the assembly of the project, or project construction. One of my subscribers said construction in a previous video, and in a previous comment on my video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the word I've been looking for. Project construction, project assembly, whatever you'd like to call it. So here we are. We're going to quickly talk about project construction. So first off, I needed to find fabric that I liked enough, that I wanted to see every day, and that I had enough space, and that I had enough of. So I have a giant box of full metered fabric that I picked up in France before I moved here. And I didn't really want to go into that. I wanted to just try to see what kind of like scrap and offcuts that I had first. So I found these. Initially, I found this here. This is a fat quarter from one of the previous month's boxes, right? I found this, and then this was the fat quarter from February's box. And I thought, well, they look kind of nice together, right? So I was like, well, I'll do those two. That's really wonky. Anyway, I would do these two together. Actually, let's go this way. Yeah. Right? Because they look pretty nice. And then I decided, I thought I would do this as my other pattern, this minty green floral. But I didn't really like it as much as I thought I would. It seems a little bit busy. Yeah. But then, so as I was digging around, I found this really beautiful, like almost poinsettia kind of fabric too. Tell me if you recognize where these two fabrics come from. But yeah, so I thought this is a bit busy together, but this looks really nice. And they both have like that, like kind of like desaturated kind of gray tone happening, which I really liked too. So after consulting with my cousin, because I consult with her about most things, I ended up doing these two colors with this butterfly pattern on the back. It's not exact match, but again, it's that desaturated kind of color. And these like fine lines are the same color as like these lines in here, which is very similar to this. So I think they all work together quite well. Yeah, so first things first, picked out my patterns, or picked out my fabric, decided I really liked it. Then, as always, I ironed my fabrics, laid them out together to get a nice picture in case I decided to post this to Instagram. Then I cut my pattern, my fabric, followed the instructions. I didn't have enough of this poinsettia fabric to do like a perfect fold over. So, I'm sure there's a picture, but, what I did is I took just a white scrap and added it to the one side, like sewed it to the one side of my fabric, for the interior. So it's like, you can see the poinsettia here and here, but further down, like starting about here and down, it's all white, but you can't see it, so it doesn't matter. I do that a lot, actually. Yeah, so then they had you quilt this, a main piece, which I actually did. Then you sewed this piece onto it. Then you sewed them together, and then you called it a day. It was a really, really simple project. It took me 2 hours start to finish. That's cutting, probably not ironing, but definitely cutting, fusing, because there's a layer of fusible fleece here. Cutting, fusing, quilting, sewing, maybe 2 hours, maybe even a little bit less. I'm not sure. It seems like it's gotten dark in here. Just a second. I bought this like desk, yeah, there we go. I bought this desk light that was supposed to be like 40 hours of like light, but you get like maybe 40 minutes of really good strong light, and then you have to plug it in if you don't want just fading light. It's also besides the point. So anyway, it came together really quickly, which I really, really liked. I forgot to say this video is in 4 parts. Whoops. Should I start again? Nah, I'm good. Okay, so part 3. Now that I remember that we do them in parts. Part 3 is pros, cons, and user error. This should be pretty quick because there's really not a lot of pros or cons or user error because it was so simple. There is a couple of modifications. So pros. I now have somewhere where I can stash things while I'm sewing. So the way that this is designed is, as you can see, it's supposed to hang off the edge of your table or wherever you're sewing from, and have everything available. There is a con there. So what I have right now, like usually I have like my snips in here, seam gauge or hem guide or whatever, a couple of quilting clips usually, and this dude, which is still in here. I could feel him. I got this in its previous month's box. It's a needle threader for my sewing machine. It's bent to hell. I don't need a needle threader. I can thread my needles pretty easily on my own, but sometimes it's nice to have this. So I had it slid into this pocket here, so that's where it's probably going to live now. Yeah, so yeah, it hangs off the side and it works pretty well. So that's why I got it, right? I got it because the pattern is really easy to follow. You didn't need a whole lot of stuff. Fat quarters are actually just a little bit too small for it, but that's okay. And I'll discuss that in a second. But yeah, like I said, it's a really easy project. If you are a beginner sewer, I would recommend this project or something very similar to get you started, to help you get you going, because everything is really quite simple. The instructional video is really helpful. And yeah, just all in all, like a nice, easy project. Cons. There's only one real con, and that's, it could be how tall my dining room table is, or my desk is, or whatever. But when this hangs off this side, it kind of hangs onto my lap a little bit. But I got used to it, so I know like I'm gonna use this pocket a lot. I'm gonna use this pocket a lot, and this pocket. But I don't know if these ones, because these ones kind of get bunched up as I'm sewing. But we'll see. Like I've only kind of used it once, and that was with my whale. This guy, if you haven't seen him, he was in a video 2 weeks ago. He just hangs out on my desk right now. But yeah, that's the only con, is that it hangs a little too low. But I wonder if I can make that better. Like maybe if I had it sit higher with my sewing machine. I don't know. Like I said, I've only used it once with my whale. And yeah, I'm excited to try it out with all of these projects that I have coming up for next month. Or this month, really. Like next week is, what did I say next week was? Oh, next week is the Sewers Club review for this month, which is this guy, the reversible grocery bag. The unboxing for this was last week. So that's next week's project. I'm going to sew that sometime soon because, well, for you it's next week. I'm pre-filming this by quite a bit. And then the week after that is going to be a bunch of the week after that is going to be something for a different project that I'm kind of in the project or in the planning stages of, so I don't want to talk about it quite just yet. And then I'm also going to be doing next month's pattern review, because next month is also a pattern review. I'm babbling. Okay. User error. There is no user error because it's a really simple project. There are modifications though. So I wanted to use fat quarters on this because, like I said, I did not want to have to cut out my any from my like meters of stash that I have. Those are saved for other kinds of projects, and I didn't want to mess with it. So what I did is that I have 2 fat quarters, and I needed 19 inches by 20 inches, and I didn't have them. They were like 18 inches by 20 inches, I think. So they were about an inch too short. And I said, that's fine. Like, I think this is the right width. Yeah, like this is 18.5 inches wide. So this is here is the length. That was the problem. It wasn't 19, it was 18. And so it's an inch like shorter this way than it needed to, or that it should be. But I think it's fine. Like, testing it out with my sewing machine, it worked just fine. So no problems there. All right, now let's do part 4, my sign off. Final thoughts and sign off. So this is a really easy project, like I said. I do not think I'll be remaking it again. I don't have plans to remake it again unless somebody I know wants one. The only people that I know who would want one is my cousin, and she sews all of the time anyway, so she could like whip this up probably quicker than me. And my mother-in-law, who also sews, who used to sew all the time and is getting back into it. And again, she could whip this up really quickly as well, so she doesn't need one either. Maybe I'm in a future giveaway, I'm thinking about doing like the option of like a gift card or some project that I could put together or something. So I'm in the initial thoughts of that. But it's still really early planning stages for that kind of giveaway, because that's not going to be a 100 subscriber giveaway thing. That's going to be like a 500 subscriber giveaway thing, or 1,000 subscriber giveaway thing if I ever get there, or just a random giveaway. Like I said, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. But right now, I do not have plans to revisit this. I will update you in a month-ish to let you know how this thing has held up as I go through my next bout of sewing, which will be commencing, which will probably have already commenced by the time that this video goes live, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't know. I really like this project. I really like how simple it was. But I feel like my brain is not actually allowing for me to make clear and concise statements. So, sorry that this one is more rambly than usual. But subscribe if you like the rambling. I don't know. If you want to see more sewing content, yeah. Comment below. Ooh, that actually, I do have a question if you've made it this far. When this pattern came out in January or in September of 2020, did you get it? Did you see it? Were you like on the fence about buying Sewers Club or getting Sewers Club, I should say? I'm curious to find out what you initially thought of this, or if this is your first time seeing this pattern, this project, what do you think of it now? To be honest, if I had received this as a Sewers Club project now, after having done so many of them, I don't know if I would have been as excited for it. Like, I'm excited to have it, like I bought it, right? Like I paid money for it, but to spend $40 on a Sewers Club subscription box and then have this, which took me less than 2 hours to put together, I'm not sure if I would have been happy about it. And that's just me being honest. It's less complicated than this guy here, and this guy was really, really easy. Like, I will put up in on the end cards this project review from last year. But even this was more complicated because you had like this layer and this layer attaching to this layer, and it's double-sided. So yeah, that's really my only critique. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think, and answer those questions that I have for you if you like. Like the video if you've made it this far. We're at the end of the video, so yay. For being so simple, I'm pretty sure this video is way, way too long. Anyways, I'm gonna go and get started on another project for a different day. Yeah, anyway, okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.